You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at EAS Club. I am so excited. I am here with two very energetic ladies that are doing it massive in Southwest Florida, doing it big. And I'm telling you guys, you got to brace yourself because we're going to create some stories today. I'm so excited.
Yes. You can call me Stacey. Feel free to call
So,
me Stacey.
Stacey, Jamie, let's lay it out for the listeners.
Okay.
So we want to take the listeners back before the professional ladies now that are doing humongous things in Southwest Florida.
Okay.
Yes? So we'll start with you, Stacey.
Okay.
The early days.
Okay.
The early days.
Yeah.
What was that? Where did you grow up?
I was born in West Virginia.
Okay.
Spent some time in Pennsylvania, but I went to school in Southwest Florida. I went to middle school, high school, and I graduated from University of South Florida and Florida Gulf Coast University. And I'm 51, so I've had.
She just hit us with it, and she looks so young too. You can't do that to the listeners. She looks so good, right?
I secretly did it for my own. But I just wanted to hear some.
She just wanted to put it out there. Like, listen, I might look like a baby, but I'm 5'1". I like it.
Hey, thank you.
This is good. Much. And how about you? Before the grown up.
Well, I'm 41 and I have more wrinkles than Stacey. So we'll start there.
Come on.
Originally from East Lansing, Michigan, right at Michigan State, where they teach you the fight song in elementary school.
Yeah. They teach you the which song?
The fight song. It's ridiculous, but it's great. It's great camaraderie. Moved to Florida when I was around 10.
Okay.
And have lived in this area from here to north of Tampa for high school for the majority of the remainder of that time.
Okay.
Went to FGCU and Edison Community because, back then you had to go to both.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And then went up to USF.
Okay.
And had kind of a weave of a career to get to where I am today.
Okay. So we're going to dive into that here momentarily. But back to you, Stacey. Growing up, like going to middle school, what was that like? Like,
really, you're taking this 51-year-old right
First, we want to know if there was the introvert there or the extrovert. Who was you?
I was in school. I was probably more of an introvert. I grew up very poor.
Okay.
And when you grow up poor, sometimes we didn't have the nicest clothes. I had a lot of love in my family, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think I was very self-protective as a young person growing up poor. And, back then, like now, kids are, you like to compare. And I have this. And so we didn't have a lot. I think I kept to myself in school, but I had a great friend group outside of school. And I was a clown. I loved to clown. I loved to laugh.
You were a jokester?
Yes.
Okay.
Got in a little bit of trouble, not big trouble, but I enjoyed playing.
Okay.
When I grew up, it was in the late 70s, early 80s. And so we were playing outside. We enjoyed playing stickball in the streets. I feel like one of those people telling me stories because that's part of the life I got to live, which was beautiful.
Wow, stickball. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was that like for you? Actually, let's go into the early 80s. What was that like for you in the early 80s?
The early 80s was that was mostly when I was in Michigan, and it was great. It was, as a child, I was surrounded by a variety of people. When you grow up and you live in a university town, you have people of all faiths, of all sexes, of all colors, of all identities, and nobody really gives a shit. Am I allowed to curse? Oh. I'm sorry. Nobody really cares. It's just accepted, and people have educations and they want to talk about things. And it's not that there aren't any issues, but it was extremely eye-opening and very drastic as a child to go from that to coming to Southwest Florida, especially here in Fort Myers.
People always ask, why the green go against the blue and yellow?
Because green is better. Green and white is better. Let's make that very clear.
I didn't say it.
It is always better. No. Well, they're the two thriving state colleges, and they happen to be both incredible colleges. Okay. So it's a huge rivalry, but I have family that goes to U of M, lives right there at the stadium, and they're incredible people, but I just happened to be born at Michigan State right there.
Just so you had to be a Michigan.
Yeah,
State,
I mean it's in my blood. I can't help it. Go green.
Go green.
Go green.
Okay, Stacey. When you think back on meals that you were eating when you were growing up, which meal could you remember that make you say, we are really poor?
Cheese sandwiches.
What you mean, cheese sandwiches?
Just a couple pieces of bread with a piece of cheese in the middle. Yeah, I mean, I used to walk across the street to the corner store and get $2 worth of cheese. Yeah. Okay. And it was different back in the 80s. But that's a meal I won't forget. And to this day, I do enjoy a cheese sandwich.
There you go.
With soft bread, is it like Wonder Bread? Like
Wonder
white bread?
Yeah.
Where it kind of sticks to the roof of your mouth.
Because Wonder Bread was that bread back then. Huh?
That was and that bread stuck to everything inside. You're going to be full for hours.
It looked like they're coming back with that bread too, isn't it?
Yes.
Why not?
Oh my goodness. So you ladies, you came to Southwest Florida which year?
1986.
1986. All right, 1986.
About that time, about 1990.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So 4 years apart, somewhat.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right.
We're neighbors. I know. We didn't know it. We were neighbors.
So when you got to Southwest Florida, what was that culture shock like?
Oh, it was a significant culture shock. I think Jamie mentioned it. I went from the community I grew up in or had been growing up in Pennsylvania was very diverse. My neighborhood was predominantly brown people, people of color.
Right.
When I got to South Florida, there weren't a lot of people of color. And it was a very sort of a rural kind of, because I moved to Lehigh.
Okay.
I was living in Lehigh with my grandparents.
Right.
So I came from neighborhood mentality where there were row houses.
Right.
People were out all the time playing. We played in the street. When I got here, I mean, I could barely see the next house near us.
Wow.
So there was a sense of loneliness. There was that loss of a sense of community, a loss of diversity. Yeah, it was a shock for sure. Yeah.
Jamie, when you were leaving Michigan, how many of your friends you had to say bye to and you were sad about it?
Well, I was at that age where you don't really fully comprehend what's going on. Like I knew we were moving, but as a child, I just thought Disney World. So I didn't quite realize that we were leaving this whole world that we had lived in. And like Stacey referenced, it was a neighborhood where everybody knew each other. You might not like each other, but you knew each other.
Knew each other,
and we were allowed to ride our bikes to this point, to this point. My dad owned a business in town. So some people knew him or we knew other people for their involvement.
Right.
And it was very connected. You could play in the streets. We walked to school.
Wow.
I know, what a concept, right? And so coming here, it was just, so I realize this is a very privileged stance that I'm saying this from, first off. But when we came here, and I remember one of our neighbors said to me, and I went to Heights Elementary School, said, well, aren't you like the only white person there?
Wow.
And I remember thinking, first of all, I'd never heard, I had heard that, but I hadn't heard it in that capacity. And I'm like 9 at this time.
Wow.
And I go back to school and I looked around and I was like, oh.
You're different.
I am different. But as a child, we don't know that until we're taught that.
Right.
And sometimes we're taught that because we have to learn it for survival.
Yes.
And sometimes we're taught it because it just comes up in conversation, maybe for awareness. You know, I knew that there were differences in color, and I knew that there have been fights. Like my parents took me to Malcolm X had lived in Lansing, Michigan for a period of time. And so we lived in East Lansing.
Okay.
So my father in particular always made sure that we were aware of what went on, the realities of the world. So I wasn't stupid, but I was 9.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, you're young.
I was 9.
Young. Yeah.
So,
you still have a lot of growing up to do.
So when I came here and started to realize that we weren't playing in the streets as much, kids weren't as free to just be kids. And adults were saying things to children like, aren't you the only white person there?
Wow.
Like, that's just a completely different environment than I come from. So again, I felt similar to you, loneliness. I felt like I needed to stay further inside. Like it wasn't safe.
Wow.
Even at school, feeling unsafe, not because of the color of the children around me, but just because all of a sudden there wasn't this connectedness.
Right. Wow.
You know.
So, Stacey, when you finished high school, college was the next option, or you wanted work?
College was, I had also been working in high school, and I was going to continue to work. I mean, my mom raised me and my father that you're going to work. We're going to help you out along the way, but you need to work. So after I finished high school, even before I finished, the plan was, and I went to ECC, Edison Community College then, and got those initial credits taken care of. But that was the plan. My mom and dad had an abbreviated college life. Most of the people in my family didn't go to college. So it was really important that I go. So I definitely heard that growing up, and it became part of my narrative was, and I bought into it. I wasn't forced or anything like that. But that was the plan, and that's what I did. That
is beautiful right there. Yeah. So you what was your first job like?
Oh boy. I was so bad at it. I worked for World Cruise Club. I was a telemarketer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 16 years old. When I was able to work, I got this job. A friend of a friend said, hey, you got to do this because if you sell these cruises and you hit a certain number of sales, you get a bonus.
Yeah.
And I was awful.
Wow.
I was awful at it.
You wasn't selling no cruise?
I didn't sell anything. I had the job for a year. I met some great people. But it was an interesting experience. Yeah.
Wow.
Not good. Not a good salesperson.
How about you, Jamie?
My first job, I was babysitting, of course. Like Stacey worked from very young. So I babysat. Looking back, like, who lets a 12-year-old babysit their children? Who does that?
You was a responsible 12-year-old.
That was a thing back then. I don't know. I ate all the food. Oh my God. I would go in and open the cabinets. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They have all the sugary stuff I wasn't allowed to eat. So I babysat, and then my mom used to work for Hilton Brand Hotel. She was general manager. So in the summertime, I would go and work the front desk or clean hotel rooms even.
Oh, wow.
It was very, I don't remember how much I got paid, but I just remember going. Yeah. And summertimes I spent a lot of times going up to help family members in Michigan. I'm sure there was an advantage to my parents getting me out of that and shipping me up to family members. But if a family member was ill, maybe, close to passing or having a surgery, maybe needed help with their children, I would go up and I would do what, 15, 16-year-olds can do, what they're capable of, and help out.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. You ladies have the heart for the community. And so we want to jump to that now somewhat. So first of all, when did you ladies meet? Like, when did you ladies first, bless eyes on each other and be like, okay, you know what? There's a possibility we're going to become friends.
I would like to start the story because Stacey didn't realize how much we were going to be intertwined at the time.
I did not.
So I had 2 weeks prior gone to see Julie Boudreau at the Children's Advocacy Center to do a tour with my dear friend Maggie DePue. And I'm walking through and we're sitting down in one of the rooms and I look at her and I'm like, you must have incredible turnover here. Like, this work that you guys are doing is so just deeply impactful, but truly traumatic.
Right.
I mean, to work in an emergency scenario with children and families that are coming out of some horrifying situations. I said, we got to do something. Let's talk about how we can work with your team.
Right.
Fast forward 2 weeks. I show up at this coalition meeting here at the Collaboratory. Yeah. No intentions of signing up for anything.
Yeah.
To lead anything, right?
Okay.
You know how this works.
Yes.
And Stacey here had never met her before.
Right.
Stands up, and there's probably 20 or 30 people in the room.
I think so.
Big room. Uh-huh. And we're talking about what kind of committees we need. What do we need to do in the community? And Stacey stands up, she grabs the mic, and she's pacing back and forth. And she's talking about how we need to heal the healthcare workers. Ooh. They need help. And she goes on and on and on. Great. They add it to the list. Yeah. 20 minutes later, they say, who would like to lead these coalitions that we come up with ideas? She didn't raise her hand.
No. What?
And I'm like, God darn it. Oh! So I'm raising my hand, but at the whole time I'm thinking, oh, she is coming with me. Because that energy she had and that passion. And I came in there with an intention, because I saw a need in the community. Yes. And so when she got up and she spoke, in fact, I even went up to her and I was like, I'm Jamie Stewart. And I'm talking to her and she's looking at me like, oh my God, and then I followed up with her and I emailed her. I'm like, we're going to be friends. That's not what I said. But I said, let's get together. Yes. So we end up getting together. And we work on, we forming this coalition within the Collaboratory. And I think that is when we both just said, I love spending time with this woman. Yeah. We can get a lot done. Yeah. Like, let's keep this going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. That is
that's what happened.
It's what happened. Yeah. And what really took me back was when you ended up standing up too in the room. Like, we're both looking at each other across the room. Yeah. And I'm realizing, like, we're on the same wavelength here. And then afterwards we kept meeting and talking. Yeah. And each time we'd meet and talk, between the two of us, we're big thinkers, we're visionaries and having these ideas, and we just kept at it. We enjoy each other. Yeah. We both come from a place of deep compassion and connection to the community, and that this is a community that hurts, that's hurting right now. Yes. And so I think our bond was compassion and kindness and being able to spread that and heal others within the community. Right? There's a lot of talk about, we are in healthcare and wellness. We see this huge shortage of healthcare workers. People are leaving. They're tired. They're depressed. They're burned out and exhausted. And so we're recruiting from other states. We're recruiting globally. Right. What about the people within? Right. This community that are working right now, they're healing. Right. They're taking care of, whether it's physical health, behavioral health, where I come from. Right. These are people that are taking care of our loved ones. Right. What are we going to do to take care of them? Right. And so we just continue to bond in that regard. And then you brought in HeartMath. Yeah. So originally I was going to design a program to help these frontline behavioral health workers to increase their capacity to be fully present again. Let's get back to the original reason they came into this field. Right. Because they genuinely care. Right. They want to make a difference. Right. They can make a difference. They do make a difference. Let's bring them back to that point. Right. Or create a new version of that. Right. And then I was given access to this program through the Institute of HeartMath called the Resilience Advantage. Right. And after looking through all of their data and their research and the impact that they've proven to be able to make, I said, well, why in the world would I create my own program? Right. Let's just come out with this one. Right. So I went through the 5 months of training. It's really a lifetime of training for this program, because part of learning to facilitate the program is the evolution within yourself. Right. So it's a lifetime, lifetime program. And came to Stacey one day and said, me creating my own thing, gone. We're going to do this. Yeah. And I'm telling her all about it. But at the time I was also with intention practicing the tools. Okay. And that morning was really fascinating because Stacey comes in, we're in the idea room, which is like a circular room where you're at a circular table, so you're all facing each other. Yes.
And Stacey has a lot of energy.
Yes.
If you can't tell.
I can see that.
A lot of energy.
Yes.
I mean, when I first met her, I described her as literally pacing up and down the room talking on the microphone, okay?
Right.
So she comes in and I see her, she sits there and we're talking, and all of a sudden I see her body, she starts leaning back, her arms start going down. And so I'm telling her about this program and the potential of it. And she looks at me and she goes, "Is that what you're doing right now?"
Right.
And I was like, yes, it is.
Wow.
It is. It's sharing the frequency. It's sharing this connection and the way that we're able to impact not only ourselves, but those around us.
Right.
And then we had another friend here that at the time was involved in the coalitions that came in, and she was having a horrible migraine.
Wow.
And when she came in, she was pale.
Wow.
I mean, pale. Like we stopped what we were talking about and we looked at her and we said, Stacey said, "Do you want us to drive you somewhere? Like, can we help you?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, I think this is exactly where I need to be." And she kind of touches the table.
Yeah.
I'd say within 20, 25, 30 minutes.
At the most.
At the most, her color is back. She's present.
Yeah. Wow, that was beautiful.
She feels, and it's because we were able to create a cohesive space of compassion, of kindness, of understanding. And each one of those appreciation, all of that has a frequency that sends out from the heart, from the body.
Right.
So after having this conversation with Stacey, she's like, "I am all in. Whatever this is, I am in."
That's good. Let me ask you, ladies. So with what you're doing now, when pandemic hit, do you think society understand better the importance of what everyone did in the medical field?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahasink.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
I definitely believe that there is incredible value that perhaps hadn't been seen before.
Right.
Taken for granted.
Taken for granted, and now illuminated in a big way for healthcare workers, including behavioral health. What remains in the shadows and hidden is the level of the burden that these folks carry, that healthcare workers, behavioral healthcare workers, I'm going to say healthcare, which includes behavioral healthcare, that they carry as a result of trauma and uncertainty, seeing death, losing loved ones themselves, working and living in an incredibly uncertain environment. And they continue to this day taking on that burden, hearing those stories and healing others. They too need to be healed.
Right.
You know, there's only so much that you can put in that box, so to speak, and close it up before you walk on to the floor and you're on to take care of somebody. So there's been a compounding of trauma for our healthcare workers.
Right.
And that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I found out that Jamie was passionate about. And when she brought heart math to the table, it's evidence-based. There's science behind it. That's the beautiful concept of it, and it's already healing healthcare workers.
Right. I mean, this people in the medical field been around forever.
Yes.
Why you think nothing was never really designed to look out for them? Because they're looking out for someone, but nothing was designed to look out for them.
I think as a society, we haven't really been taught to take care of ourselves. You know,
I like that.
And this goes for men as well, but I'm going to focus more with the women that we're taught by society, by our families, some intentionally, some not, to sacrifice ourselves for our children, for our loved ones, for our partners, for our friends.
Right.
And that is so deeply wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and this goes the same for men. It's just done in a different capacity. It's done in a kind of a toxic masculinity way. Right.
Yes.
So I'll speak as a woman because I'm a woman.
Yes.
So I think that's where it begins.
Right.
And then we compound on it. So the nurturers, the ones that want to help, the ones that want to heal, go into these fields because it's something that comes natural to them. And then they just like, it's no different than when you become a parent and get burnout.
Right.
If you're not taking care of yourself first, you cannot. It is absolutely impossible to then pour from a full cup into somebody else.
Ooh, gems. Ooh, I like that right there. This is beautiful.
Right. So if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of other people. We're going to show up.
Right.
I'm going to show up with my client right here.
Right.
And I'm going to go through the motions of what I've been taught to do.
Right.
But it's no longer flowing through me.
Right.
It's just coming from here to here. And we're hoping for the best outcome.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't matter if it's a therapist one-on-one, if it's a doctor, if it's a nurse, if it's a soccer coach.
Right.
A hairdresser, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If we aren't focusing on healing, and not even healing, because that kind of that means that there's something wrong with us, right?
Right.
But if we aren't working on ourselves to give ourselves a full, strong capacity, then how in the world do we think we're going to continue to give that to somebody else? And none of us are taught that.
That's true.
I think younger people are kind of being taught that now. You've got social media. There's a lot more information out there that parents can learn from. But I sure as hell wasn't taught that.
Right.
I haven't witnessed that in my family.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else. We were taught by example and through society to do the complete opposite. So that's how we've ended up in this place where we take for granted the helpers.
Right.
We take it for granted.
For sure.
With what you ladies are doing now, you see challenges in the society taking to it or accepting what that look like, or
what I've identified is when first of all you've got to give people a reason to slow down, and meet them where they are and explain. What's really helpful is the science behind this. I work with nurses, I work with some physicians and therapists, and what they're interested in is if I'm going to slow down, because they want to give. These are selfless, passionate people who just want to keep on giving. So if I'm going to give, or if I'm going to slow down, I want you to give me a good reason to do that. And so when I've been able to share the science behind heart math, and that other nurses, doctors, physicians, clinicians, people, first responders have bought into this, and it's helped them, we're seeing the doors open, and we're seeing a recognition that, okay, and it's a half an hour. The way that this is designed, and that Jamie's rolled this out for, I can speak for my team, is that they take a half an hour out of their time to be able to participate in this process. So yes, they are accepting in that regard. When we talk about larger scale, then we talk about funding and getting the right ears peaked to listen, and getting people trained and putting the systems in place to really to roll this out. So there's a lot more people that we need to bring to the table.
Okay, I like that. So there is quite a bit of structure and that's still left to be done.
Yeah, and it's entrepreneurship. Cornell, you understand this, right? Entrepreneurship is nothing. Is a straight line.
No, none of it.
And it's really fantastic because you can customize and personalize everything when you're an entrepreneur. Right. Sometimes that's where the frustration is. Right. But so what will happen with a SalusCare scenario, whether it's SalusCare or a group of first responders, is that we customize it within their leadership team. So that's where that personalization is going to come from, because we can give all this information to her clinicians. But if the leadership, the front line, like the people that are working directly with them, aren't using this material, if they're not incorporating it into conversations, if they're not incorporating it into meetings, then it's not going to be as effective. And so it's going to look different for every company. It's going to look different. Julie Boudreau has 30 roughly at Children's Advocacy Center, 30 people. SalusCare has hundreds. Well, how many?
We're starting our pilot. We're starting with 20 to 30, but we have
as a total
300.
company, there's 300. So when you're thinking about launching something within a company to make real systemic long-term change, it's going to be different for each company. And that's where bringing in people with experience, people with passion, that are willing to have these conversations is really, really important. And that's what we're doing at SalusCare with this group of 20 to 30 people, is using them as kind of our first arena to design this within our community.
So I've heard stuff like the individuals that SalusCare got to take care of. But what is the most common case at SalusCare?
The most common is anxiety.
Okay.
That's going to be at the top of the list.
Okay.
Other common diseases that we see are individuals with depression and other mood disorders.
Okay.
We also see a huge, these are the folks that we treat. We've seen a huge increase over the years in the number of individuals that have both mental health and substance use disorder diseases. So a lot of folks, as they're learning about their illness, or for some, because of the course of the disease, some of the people that we serve will use alcohol or other substances to self-medicate to help with some of the symptoms of the mental health disease. Unfortunately, it creates a whole nother, if you will, set of problems. So what we're seeing now is a community that we see hundreds of individuals that are coming through our hospital every month. We see thousands of people coming through our outpatient department every month. They're the you and I. The people that we work with and we serve it's the Stacey's, the Jamie's, the Cornells. It's our family members, our neighbors, our people. So it's our community, and they need us to heal them.
Absolutely.
And with the pandemic, with the hurricane, we're seeing an increase in the number of people that need our help in the community. Unlike any other time, I've been in this work for over 25 years, and I don't think we've seen anything quite like this. We work with children as well. And we're seeing an increase in the need for children who need behavioral health services, and you adults. So the need is increased exponentially.
Wow. How bad you think it is now from 15 years ago?
Oh, I don't even, exponentially. I mean, if people were living with any sort of anxiety, depression, any of those things, and then going through the pandemic, depending on their circumstances, and then going through this category 5 life-altering hurricane that we had in this community. I mean, people are just at their wits' end. And this, I think the part of it that really gets to me is that a lot of them don't even realize that life doesn't have to be that way. Because we've been living in this cycle for so long. If you had told me when I was 12 and I had really bad anxiety and depression that I could feel the way that I feel right now, I wouldn't even have been able to comprehend it. I just knew that there was something different. I just knew that this can't be it. This can't be it. I gotta, that person is laughing a lot. I was probably looking at the Staceys and saying, I want to fucking laugh like that. Whatever that is, that's what I want.
That's what you want.
That's what I want.
Wow.
But when we are in these cycles for so long, we have forgotten that we can just be, that we can lay back in the chair like this, that we don't have to be constantly on edge. That we don't have to be constantly surveying what's going on around us because we feel unsafe. And that sometimes even just making that comment can push people over the edge because they're like, I don't feel unsafe.
Right.
You know?
Society would say media is the reason that we are where we are today. Would you ladies agree with that?
I think it's a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a part of the process, but where we're at today is a result of many different pieces of a very complex puzzle. Part of it is definitely media. Part of it is racial and social injustice.
Right.
Part of it is increased substance use.
Yeah.
Part of it is politically the polarity.
Right.
You know, as a society, we have become incredibly, I would say, just so polarized in all areas. So, and there's been a lot over the past 5 years. There's been a lot over the past 15 years. And there are many pieces to this puzzle. And I think from when we look at socioeconomic differences, as we see the increase of goods, pricing people out, wages not keeping up with the increase in the cost of goods, people not being able to make a living wage, although they're working hard and working 2 and 3 jobs, healthcare not being readily available, being able to be a human. Our humanness has been fractured in a big way, and it continues to become fractured over the years.
Man. Do you think like the policymakers, you think they need to pay more attention to what's going on?
I think they are completely disconnected from reality. I would like to say that again. You are completely disconnected from reality. And the fact that it is like there is a whole nother planet.
Right.
Like this whole other thing up here where people are making these decisions for Americans that has nothing to do with our well-being. But what they're doing is they're feeding off of the state of this country. They're feeding off the fact that we're not accessing the parts of our brain and our body we need to have self-awareness. They're harnessing, they're focusing in on the parts of us that can't, that are not actually accessing the parts of our brain that allow us to have empathy and connect and look at other people's point of views. They're just laser focusing in on that and they're taking advantage of people. And I shouldn't say that as a whole because I try not to speak in absolutes, but you can tell I'm very passionate about it.
Definitely.
And it's hard to even get into those roles of politicians without selling a part of your soul these days.
Oh my goodness,
And why? Why is that? You're supposed to be for the people. Not for the minority.
Wow.
And even the verbiage that is used, it's just as a whole. I think you can put that right in there with media. You know, it's people don't want to have conversations anymore. And as a society, we have enabled that. I mean, we have generations of people growing up now that are going to be doctors. They're going to be lawyers. But if you require a face-to-face conversation out of them, their life is about to end. It feels like they don't know what to do. Because they're so connected to technology.
Right.
And they feel so, as we talked about in the beginning of this conversation, they feel so isolated because of what's going on. They feel lonely, that just having a simple discussion with somebody as passionate as myself or Stacey, that would actually scare them. Because they aren't comfortable being able to just disagree.
Wow.
It goes so deep, deep. And to me, the only way that we're going to even be able to touch this is by doing this inner work. It's going back to each one of us. Listen, if you'll go to therapy, that's great. If you'll go do these other techniques that myself and others practice, that's great. But these techniques through the Institute of Heart Math, through the Resilience Advantage program, are something that are accessible for every human being, no matter where they are at in their journey.
Wow. I like that. Do you ladies think when, I'm trying to create this so I don't get bashed or anything. When more genders were created, you think people got more scared of what they say or having those conversations?
I think that because I'll speak for the present moment. What I think is that we have an environment that consists of a great deal of uncertainty,
right,
that consists of a great deal of fear and agitation and anxiety. And I think that creates that polarization,
right,
whether it's between the binary men and women, whether it's between they and them. There's just a great deal of polarization,
right,
in general.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Whether it's that, whether it's about color, whether it's about religion, whether it's just about not liking your neighbor because they have a Ford and you have a Chevy. I mean, let's be real. People do this.
It's otherness. It really is.
Otherness.
There is the otherness, and those in privilege. I think that there is part of that privilege, if you will, is looking at others who may look different and creating that othering.
Right.
And we've seen, and that just hasn't started. Obviously, in the last year, 5 years, we're talking hundreds of years.
Right.
But as we grow as a society,
right,
and we grow beyond the binary, we grow beyond a white or a brown, then I think we start to see even more of that polarization and othering because of fear.
Right. Wow.
If you don't look like me, you're something else.
Yeah.
If I can't understand you because it doesn't relate to me, then I can other you because that keeps a safe distance.
Wow.
I can stiff arm that
Right.
which scares me.
And there's a component that's super related to surviving,
Yes.
right? We have to, on some level, be judgmental.
Yes.
On some level, we have
On
to.
some level, yes. This is true.
We have to.
Yes.
You can't be walking down a dark street at night and just non-judgmental at all, thinking that anybody that comes walking towards you is just out for your safety, even though that's judgmental as well, right?
Right, yeah.
So there is a component that we have to, in order to survive, have to make judgments.
Right.
But it has gotten so out of control.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the factors we've talked about have steered it that those judgments are now just massive.
Yeah.
They're no longer walking down a dark street at night saying, "Oh gosh, that person, I get bad juju." Now it's just, "Oh, well, it's the skin of their color, the color of their skin, which has been going on forever, or the religion, which has been going on forever, or gosh, that person looks like they could, I don't know, is that a man or a woman? You know, like who cares?"
Right.
But the root of it is based in survival.
Yeah. I like that. Survival. That is beautiful right there. And I know, you guys are watching these beautiful ladies that are so positive with so many different things. What is your first thing you do in the morning when you get up?
First thing in the morning, I have this new routine. Well, I used to get up and get a cup of coffee.
Okay.
And I still drink coffee, but I started drinking mushroom coffee.
Mushroom?
Yeah. Not the psychedelic mushroom coffee.
Okay.
But this is supposed to be better it has a little less caffeine.
Okay.
It's better for your digestive system. So I do that, and then I go into my office and just sit. Just sit
for a minute before you do anything.
Just sit for a minute, and try to, what I've been working on is not touching technology.
Okay.
And establishing an intention for the day.
Okay.
And then if I have time in the morning, I like to work out and just begin my day that way. If I don't, I spend a little more time stretching, setting that intention, and then I head to the shower and get my day going.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does it look like in the Stuart house?
Similar. Depends on the amount of time I have, but there's always a period where I'm just sitting and thinking about the day. Again, constantly kind of trying to remove that technology aspect.
Right.
I'm a big meditator. But sometimes my meditations can be 5 minutes long.
Right.
Sometimes they can be an hour and a half.
Wow.
It just depends on the time that I have.
Okay.
And let's be real, an hour and a half doesn't,
Right.
I try to get some sort of exercise, going into the gym or whether it's at home.
Right.
And it's all based on time. And I try to give myself large block of time in the morning, because to me, the more time that I can focus on myself, which I remember, I kind of giggle because I remember thinking many, many years ago how selfish that sounded. Like, that's crazy. You don't need to give that much to yourself. But it actually allows me then to be present throughout my day for the most part in any capacity. So it's some sort of workout for my heart, for my brain. And then just really just being present in that moment.
This is beautiful. With what you ladies are doing now in community, self, how much of that time that's left the family gets?
I work really, really hard to carve out time because my family for me is my number one priority, my heart, my place of home and calm. And I, like Jamie, I grew up, was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So it's important for me to be grounded. And part of that is with my family. And it, from a mental health standpoint and for me, I have a very clear work-life separation because I need that. I need to have that grounding, bonding connection with my family. So I make sure that there are some days that are like today. It's going to be a little bit later. I have a later afternoon. But I work hard to make up for it and to have, quality time, I don't know what that word is, but it's time.
It is time.
It's just time together, whether we're lately, decorating the tree or spending time with my 17-year-old puppy dog. Whatever we're doing, even if it's nothing, it's time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful.
100%. I think for me, it's a learning. It's constantly learning. And not just learning to make the time, but making the time to where I can actually be present, not where I'm rushing in to a dinner or rushing into somebody's house, but really being able to, from the minute I get there, to be able to be there. It's not always possible. We're human beings, I also am in a relationship with my partner that travels a lot for work. So that involves me traveling to go see him.
I see.
So I'm learning how to block that time into my schedule and be able to just say no to everything else. Because like Stacey said, it's really important to have that separation.
I like that.
And it makes me more powerful and impactful when I can make that separation.
What is relationship like with mom?
My mom passed in 2014.
Before.
And lovely.
Yeah.
We were best friends, and some would say, well, that's your mom. But my mom, I grew up with a mom who diagnosed with bipolar disorder, later developed substance use disorder, but I had incredible love from her. She's the reason that I'm in the field. She worked at a facility that I joined when I was 19 years old at SalusCare. She used to work there as a nurse. Back then it was under a different name, but she encouraged me in order for me to be able to use her car. I had to take her to work and I had to volunteer.
Put some time in.
And that's how I became very invested. So she's my heart. I talk to her every day. She might not be here, but she's here.
That's beautiful.
Always.
That's beautiful.
I love that. So, Cornell, I didn't realize we were having these conversations today. I do not have a good relationship with my mother. And let me define that. And when I say good, it means I have chosen to actually create some separation. My mother loves me in the only way that she knows how. And that is a difficult, I am learning to navigate how to receive that. It comes with some emotional abuse, not some, it comes with a lot of emotional abuse. It's something I'm navigating because I do recognize that she is actually doing the best she can do.
She can do it, what she knows.
So it's an evolving relationship, but at this point it's very limited in the way that I interact.
All right. This is fair. I like that. So with what you ladies are doing now, what's next for the structuring stage of what that look like? Who are you looking to bring on the team next? What does that look like?
So it's twofold. So we have SalusCare. And that will start in January. We definitely still have some cohesiveness to create there.
Right.
Because Stacey's done such an incredible job of getting them interested, getting them wanting to be involved. And now it's to really dig a little deeper into how we can fully implement it in. So, but that does start in January. The next step, bringing it back to the collaboratory and the coalitions, is to bring other Stacey's in the community, in the region, to the table. So that we can work with the collaboratory to, when I say work with the collaboratory can support the coalition in the effort that we're making to heal, as many as we can within the nonprofit community that work in the behavioral health sector. So we will be able to team up to not only provide funding for that, but also to provide a space here to collaborate and connect and design what that's going to look like. So our next step on the big picture is to bring more Stacey's to the table throughout the region. And so the region is going to be Hendry, Glades, Charlotte, Collier, and Lee. So more of the nonprofits in the region to the table to be able to put bigger initiative together.
That's beautiful. I'm excited.
Me too. Very excited. It's so incredibly needed now more than ever. And I'm blessed as a human to know Jamie, and certainly as a leader of an organization. And her approach has been just beautiful with the team, recognizing that these are folks who are incredibly strong. They're giving, they're passionate. Like I said, they don't want to slow down. So Jamie really opened it up so we could put it in their hands. And the management team has been leading about when we're going to have these meetings and how we're going to implement them, because Jamie didn't want to push anything on anyone, right? We don't want anybody to feel any more burdened than they already are. So I'm thrilled because this stuff really works. I get to practice it. I'm taking the course now with Jamie and others, and it's become part of my daily practice. And I can't wait for others to get the benefit of this. It's life-changing. It really is.
How long is the course?
It depends. For SalusCare, I think we're doing 12 to 16 weeks, 30 minutes once a week for that period of time. So they're very small increments. They're very digestible. The goal is that everybody leaves at 30 minutes wanting more, which is what we've been getting feedback is that people want. So.
This is beautiful. For listeners that want to find Jamie Stuart, how do they find Jamie Stuart?
You can find me on all of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, my website, under my name, Jamie, Jamie, Linn, Linn, Stuart, Stuart. And you can always reach out, schedule an appointment with me, text me, call me, email me.
This is beautiful. How can they find Miss Stacey Cook?
You can find me, easiest way is www.saluscareflorida.org, SalusCareflorida.org.
Wow, this is beautiful. What would you ladies say to the listeners that are listening right now that need help but don't know how to ask for the help?
If you, I represent SalusCare, and certainly if you need help and you're not sure what you need, that is perfectly okay. You can get to us a variety of ways. 1, through the website I just shared. 2, you can call 275-3222, or you can text that number for an appointment. Or 3, you can walk in to our location at 3763 Evans Avenue in Fort Myers.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. I think just remembering that you don't have to know what's wrong with you. You can reach out to any type of therapist, any type of facility. I practice a little bit non-traditional type of modalities, so you can reach out to me. You can reach out. And remember, you don't have to know. You just recognizing that you feel off, that there's something not right, and you want to work on it. Is that's as far as you need to get before you make that call.
Wow, guys, there you have it. Another episode. We have created some story with 2 wonderful ladies here in Southwest Florida, Miss Stacey Cook.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on the show.
I appreciate it.
And Miss Jamie. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. We have had quite the conversation. We have covered quite a bit. This was good. Until our next episode, where we create another story with another unique individuals here at EAS Club. That was beautiful.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissinggorge and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.